Well, since it is the start of wedding season, couples just starting their life together often struggle with melding two money management styles into one cohesive one. Andy Mattingly from Forum Credit Union is here to tell us how to avoid the mistakes so many couples make. And we don't have to just talk newlyweds here, but where do they start with this financial planning?
Well, the first place to start is to come clean with all of their financial history. So make sure they know what their credit history is like, what amount of debt they have, what insurance coverage they have, all those types of things. So you start with knowing where, what you've had in your past.
And you think when you're starting a life together, you know the other person. Anybody who's married realizes, oh, wow, I didn't know everything. Yeah. They need to know each other's financial history, probably?
Yeah, and part of that is kind of like why they make those decisions, or their money personality. So are they risk takers? Are they savers? Are they spenders? Are they security seekers? You need to know that so you can have good discussions.
We always talk about budgeting when you're on. A joint budget would probably be right at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's
right?
the first thing they should start with. Is like, how do they want to spend their money? How much do they want to spend in different categories? And how much do they want to save?
So, I love this next question. How do we avoid the arguments about spending money?
Well,
how do we limit the arguments about spending?
Well, the big thing is to kind of have a conversation and know how much is okay to spend without talking to the other person. Some people might say, well, if you spend over $100, we need to talk about it. And the other person could be, well, until it gets over $1,000, I thought I was okay to do that. So having that limit that you can spend without consulting the other is a good limit to set before anything happens.
And I would imagine if you polled 100 people, you would get 100 different answers on joint versus separate checking accounts.
Yes, and there's a lot of different reasons to do it, and no reason or no way is the right way. But I like to say, go ahead and make it ours instead of his and hers, because if one makes more than the other, all of a sudden they get the power in the relationship if they have more money. And it's better if you just put everything together and not try to split it up.
What are some of the other mistakes people make?
Well, one of the big mistakes is they don't have a discussion about long-term goals. One spouse may want a great house and the other one may say, I want to rent all the time, but I want to take lavish vacations. You're going to be in conflict right away, so you need to have that discussion early on.
Is there a number one mistake you think that people make?
Yeah, they don't have regular discussions because you need to talk about all the things in the future. When do you want to have kids? What's going on? Do you feel good about how much we're spending on different things? So talk regularly about money. The
people that you deal with, do you find a lot of times they don't talk about these things because they're afraid of the answer they might get?
Well, that or they think that we're alike in so many other things. We, of course, have to be alike in how we think about money. And that's what happens a lot is they don't think about talking about money.
And even couples who've been married 20, 30, 40, 50 years still have these same issues, right?
Yes, and you just need to have that constant conversation about it and make sure everyone's always got the same goal in mind.
And just because they have a different opinion doesn't mean that they are wrong or they're the enemy, right?
No, and it's really about learning to compromise and seeing and how you can help each other get to the goals that you both maybe don't, that are different, but you can share in both of you getting there.
Marital therapist Andy, where can people get some more info from you?
At forumcu.com.
Or Forum Talk on Twitter. Let's check in one more time with Lindsay.